Welcome to Married with Gaming. I'm Jen. He's Mike. Let's roll some dice.
Hey, welcome to Married with Gaming. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jen.
And today, Jen is going to take us through creating a character for Pirate Borg. Using the player's guidebook from the starter set. And also using there's a little flow chart that's included as well. It also guides the character creation. So, as the kids say on the YouTube, let's get into it. Sure, the kids say that.
Okay, so if you don't know by now, I'm a huge fan of rolling to create characters, so I'm excited to make this character today because it's a lot of rolling on random charts.
And there are a lot of random charts with some.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not totally random, but first thing I find interesting about this character creation system is you roll for your gear first, which I think is kind of interesting. So for rolling gear, you need D6 and D12. So you're first going to roll your D6. I rolled a 6. So my starting gear, the D6 indicates what kind of container you're going to start with. So I get to start with a dinghy. So that's pretty cool.
So like a blonde girl?
No, like a boat. Oh, my goodness. Oh. So my dinghy, now I'm not sure where to put, probably right here, right? So I have a dinghy to start with. Okay. Then we're going to roll the D12. So the first D12 is your cheap gear that you start with. I have a 6. That is weighted dice. Oh, see, I'm going to be some sort of a player.
Cheat.
And the second D12 is your fancy gear that you roll for. Another 6. So for that, that is an old pocket watch. So we just write it here under our equipment to start with. All right, now the next thing that you do in this one is you roll for your stats. If you know that you're going to play a landlubber, you could roll 4d6 and drop the lowest result. Or if you're going to play one of the classes, you would roll 3d6. And so I'm going to play one of the classes. Now, this book doesn't say specifically whether you have to assign them in order or not. So I'm assuming you don't have to, but who knows? I will just for ease today, so I don't have to spend a bunch of time thinking. So 3d6 for the first one. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. So then I'm going to look on this chart that's here on the little cheat sheet or in the book. So I rolled an 8. So 7 and 8 gives the stat a -1. So I'm going to have a -1 to my strength. What I rolled doesn't really matter. It's just the modifier that matters. For agility, another 8. So that's another -1. For presence, another 8. I'm just rolling the 8s. Maybe I'm going to have a lot of pieces of 8. 13. So a 13 gives my stat a +1 for toughness. And another 8. Now the stats here go from a -3 to a +6. So -3 is the lowest modifier you can get and +6 is the highest. No, ultimately. So the stats here range from a -3 modifier to a +3 rolled modifier, and the maximum you can go to ever in the game is a +6. Okay. All right, so there's my stats. Now for the next one is to roll or choose a class. So the classes are listed here. We have Brute, Rapscallion, Buccaneer, swashbuckler, zealot, or sorcerer. There are also haunted soul and tall tale, which are your optional classes, but we're not going to use those. We're just going to use these today. And just because I like to roll and why not, I'm going to roll a d6 and see what I get. A 5. I'm going to be a zealot. So my class right here is zealot. So we just kind of follow the flow chart here. We're going to add +2 to our spirit. So this gives us a +1 instead of a -1 to spirit. We're going to take away 1 from our agility. So we actually have a -2 agility. And we're going to take away 1 from our toughness. So we're going to have a ±0 for our toughness. Our hit points are going to be a D8 plus our toughness score. So it's just going to be a straight D8 in this case, a 4. So we will write, where did I see hit points at? Oh, they're down a little lower. Hit points are down here. So 8. No, 4. Did I roll a 4? Yeah, I rolled a 4. See, I already forgot what I rolled. A 4 for my hit points. And then for my weapon, I'm going to roll a D8 to see what weapon I get. Again, we have a list of the weapons and the clothing and the hats. So we roll on these tables for all of these. So with a D8, 7 gives me a flintlock pistol. So I'm going to put it up here in weapon, a flintlock pistol. And it says that is 2d4. Reloading takes 2 actions. And it lists the range as 30 feet. Ammo is 10 plus presence in shots. So I have 9 shots. Or 9 rounds, or however you call it. 9 shot for my flintlock pistol. Then I'm going to roll a d8 for my clothing. 2, which means I have rags. So yay, rags. Then I'm going to roll a d4 for my devil's luck. I do not get a hat as a zealot. So a d4 for my devil's luck, which is a 2. So that goes, where does that go in here? Right here in this star. 2. Devil's luck. And then I'm going to roll for the prayer or the spell that I have, which in this case is a d10. So here's my d10. 3. Death Ward is my spell. So I think I'm going to put that over here under relics and rituals, right? So that is Death Ward. Okay, and that completes our step 3. So now step 4 is to roll the background info for your character. So this is where it gets super fun. So for background info, you're going to roll a D100. So we have the percentile dice here. 59. So we look on page 55, I believe that is in the adventure book, and it's a table here. So 59 is a merchant. So I was a merchant, and there's a space here. Let's see if I can adjust the camera a little bit. There's a space here to write that, so merchant. And with a background of merchant, that means that I'm going to get 2d8 times 10 for my silver that I start with. 6, 3, so 90 silver. And I also have good negotiating skills. so I can haggle. Negotiating skills. Okay, then the next one to roll for is your distinctive flaw. So your distinctive flaw is a d20. I rolled a 12, and that goes to the next page right after backgrounds. So a 12 is selfish. I am selfish. Well, that kind of fits with being a merchant, but not really with a zealot. Then my physical trademark is another d20. 7. Many, many tattoos. And then idiosyncrasies is another d20. 2. A functioning alcoholic. So I am a drunk, selfish zealot full of tattoos. And then unfortunate incidents and conditions is another d20. 14. It just says you slaughtered them like animals. I must be a zealot of a necromantic cult or something. And then thing of importance, that is another D100. 81. A dark robe, cape, or cloak.
So like an apocalypse cloak?
Yeah, maybe. And that is character creation. Now you're finished and you're ready to play. So each class that you get gives you different bonuses or negatives to your stats. Some of the classes give you like an additional weapon that you start with. So it just depends on what you roll and what class you pick, kind of where you end up. But kind of fun.
And I guess you can go shopping with that money you roll to get
to buy more gear. Yeah. And your carry, how much you can carry is 8 plus or minus your strength bonus, so 7. And then you can hold your breath for 1 minute plus your toughness. If you have a negative to toughness, then it's a minimum of 1 minute. You can hold your breath.
Seems that would come in to play in a pirate game or on a ship.
So that was it. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And then you, of course, pick a name and maybe describe some of these many, many tattoos I have. So, but that is character creation for this Pirate Borg in a nutshell.
All right, let's get to adventuring.
Yeah.
Or
if you have a good name for this character, put it in the comments.
Oh.
It's going to be a female. Because I like to play girls, so. But if you have a good suggestion for a name, let me know.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Well, until next time, keep gaming.
Hey!